it's worth it to run a guild or run a raid as long as you are doing it for the experience. You're getting something out of it that you can pull outside of the game. If it's just to have authority over others in this very limited circumstance, not worth it. If it's for the pixels, it's not worth it. You can get the pixels by joining someone else's group and being really charming. It's way easier. Or if you just want to have authority over people, get it in the real world. You get paid for it. It's less ephemeral too. What are good reasons to be a raid leader, to be a guild leader? I think it's to learn stuff about yourself. Now let's talk about what you should learn about yourself to make it less painful to be a guild leader or raid leader, because that's what I think people are primarily interested in resolving when they're looking at any content involving this. Most likely, you felt like a victim before because of how people have treated you, or maybe you've had some fears or anxieties that have bothered you in the game in relation to staffing a roster, filling a guild, the success of your raids, stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. Let's talk about the victimhood one first. That happens from things not going in the way you feel like they should have because of not setting good agreements. Eliminate victimhood by having clear offers of what both parties will do and structuring them in a way where both sides feel like it's par, it's even parity until the conclusion of the agreement. That way, if either side has to back out at any point in time, it's all good. There's things you can't do this with. Fragments of a legendary item. Can't do it with that. The promise of a really big piece. Can't do it with that. But a thing you can do is make sure that if there's, for example, a loot whore in your guild, maybe they get the good stuff first every time. However, maybe make them take the first step towards earning it. So they get just slightly in debt with you, and then you give them the piece. So that way, if you ever give them a piece and then they G quit, it's like, it was fair. We are even. Problem permanently eliminated. You won't feel like a victim. That's how you resolve that feeling. Let's talk about getting angry with people. Anger. You wouldn't have anger if you felt like you had options. Okay? Make your guild better. Make it so that way you have more ability to fix the complex problems that make you angry. If you had more control, you wouldn't feel angry. You would just act on the things that are bugging you and resolve them. Okay? These are two emotions that you can deal with and just make not be a problem anymore. Now, the ones that are harder, anxiety and fear. Anxiety is, I think, you can actually crush too. Anxiety only exists in the presence of uncertainty. All right? You're not certain about what bad things could happen. Fear is when you're certain. There's a, or well, you feel like you're certain. You know you're certain. Maybe you're wrong, but it really feels like it. And there's consequences. So there's something, and you perceive consequences. That's why you have fear. There's something, and you're not sure what's going to happen. That's why you're anxious. Okay, how do you deal with those? Get more information. It's the best way. One of them that you can get information about yourself. You're worried about your roster. Let's say I wanted to make a guild tomorrow. Let's say I wanted to make sure that it had nothing to do with me being a YouTuber. I couldn't make a raid team tomorrow, but I could go to Mara runs, hit up random people, ask them about their lives, BS them when I get just random experiences. Like I saw a guy, his name was KDB in game. I know that's a database used for high frequency trading and other quantitative finance stuff. And I just asked him, like, you into databases? And he's like, how'd you know? It's not very often people get the name. And we had a nice little chat about his life and my life and money and financial markets. And I have no idea. Maybe he was already in an awesome guild, but I could have asked him to join my guild. And I bet you, if he wasn't already in a solid raid team, he would have said yes. Because why not? You don't get that experience from everybody. So if I was making a guild, I'd have no anxieties or fear about constructing a roster. I would know that if I put the lumps in, it will happen. There'd be no fear of or anxieties about, could I end up sinking all this time and having nothing on the other end? No. No, it might take more time than I think, but I would end up with a guild. For sure, I've done it a lot of times. How would you do this without having done it a lot of times? Well, by doing the process of getting a person a few times. You could try it. You could go into larger group pug content and hit the people up who are ungilded, or just hit up anybody that has an interesting name you can connect to or that says something that's cool. Chat them up, get to know them, ask. Ask them. Most people will say no, or they'll dodge the question because they don't want to tell you no. Let's say that you message 50 people, 2 of them say yes. First one that says yes, I'm lucky. It's not going to work. Second one that says yes, I'm lucky. It's not going to work. 500 people. Okay, let's say 10 of them say yes. 10th person says yes, I'm the shit. I know how to recruit fucking anyone. Okay? Could you do 500 whispers? How hard could it be? You do 50 a day. It could be completely random people that are ungilded of the classes that you want. You can go to Mara Farms, Zulfarak Farms, whatever, do BRD arena runs, something. Hit up everybody who's interesting. Maybe you get to hit up 2 or 3 people per hour. You like the game a lot, so you get to hit up 10 people a day. A month into playing the game on a few alts, you've hit up like 3, 4, 500 people. You've got half a guild. In the meantime, you'll have had to recruit pugs to fill your 10, 20-man raids, whatever you're doing. Painful, but 3 months from now, you have a roster full of people that you know better than most of your real life acquaintances, better than friends that you haven't known for very long periods of time, for sure. Then you'd never have any worries about your roster ever again. It would be permanently resolved. Also, most likely, some of those people would convert to lifelong friends. Like, I've done this many, many, many times. And so at this point, I have like 10 people that I talk to on a basically daily basis over the years. Another probably 10 to 20 on top of that that I occasionally play with that will come and join my guild sometimes if I make a new one. So if I wanted to make a guild tomorrow and I wanted to delete this YouTube channel and not lean on it at all, I could get half of a roster in like 3 days without messaging any new people, half a roster. Then I could go find 10 pugs. I could take my damn time. I could just recruit the pugs and have awesome sunken temples. Do it that way. That could be you. Very easily. You could do it way better than me. I was super anxious and slow at the start, and there wasn't people on YouTube telling me it's a numbers game. You can go. They'd say this kind of shit. You're going to get really good at raid leading, and then people are going to follow you. You're going to be a leader of men. It's going to be like fucking Band of Brothers. You're going to be like Dick Winters and make all the right calls, and then people are going to just be begging to listen to you. It's never going to happen. Fuck no, it's never going to happen. It doesn't go like that. You're not going to be so smooth and charming that everybody just wants to be your best buddy and follow you around. Never going to happen. But what you can do is you can get to know people really well. If you get to know people really well and they join your guild, you know what that means? They're brave and they like getting to know other people really well. And they'll know that when they join your guild, they will meet people that are fucking rad. And they'll also have some expectations about how your raid will go. That's important too. But no one is ever going to think that you're just some super suave leader of men and that you just make all the right calls and that you're the fucking coolest, smoothest politician guy ever. Doesn't exist. And that's a good thing because that means you don't have to learn fucking shit. You just gotta be yourself and play the fucking numbers game and find out what gives you the negative emotions when you're doing your guild leading or raid leading and eliminate those problems permanently, one at a time. Permanently. Here's a piece of advice if you have one raider who's causing you a lot of worry, you G-kick them. If you're a pussy, the first time you think it, you write it down. The second time you think it, you G-kick them. You're a hothead, maybe wait till you've written it down 10 times. Me, I've only kicked a couple people ever. So next time, if I ever made a guild, if I had 2 negative thoughts about somebody, serious negative thoughts, they'd be out. So by serious, I'd mean like they act like a prima donna in the middle of raid in Discord and cause something bad to happen. I tell them, hey, don't do it again. They do it again. If it felt really disrespectful both times they did it, they're out. That's rare. It's super rare. I have like one person in mind when I'm saying that out of like years of playing. If you're aggressive, maybe count up the, just more times. But do that. Eliminate the things that make being a GM not worth it, and then prove to yourself that you have the skills to start the group. That's another thing, is if you know that you can start a group, then you won't be so worried about making the right decision, because the consequence isn't that big. When I disbanded my really good guild after doing one Ulduar, it didn't feel like I was giving up something forever that my whole WoW life had led up to. Didn't feel like that. I knew I could have it again. It just wasn't worth it in that moment, and it wasn't going to be worth it in the next many moments. And so I was able to give it up. I was very free, and when I said it's done, I felt great.